Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for being here on this Monday night as we kick off the newest edition of our Monday night training calls, the next segment. We have 32 people in this group from the wider team, people who have recently just signed up all the way up through senior executive and VP ranks who've been with these coachings or are just joining in. So we are calling this group Run for the Roses, and it's here to help each and every one of you reach the ample bonuses in the program that Ever has rolled out that started last month and runs through July. We're not going to be spending time in this group focusing on the details of that. That's all in the lounge. That's for you and your direct mentor to make a specific plan for you. But our number one mission with this group and these calls is to come together to build our culture in a stronger way, to create more positive energy, but really to engage simply and efficiently to make progress. Because the Run for the Roses bonuses, all the goals that you might have are destinations and goals, at least temporary ones once you get there. But human beings are the most happy when they are in progress, when they feel that they are progressing. So that is our number one goal here. We're here to learn how to tell better stories far more often, both as individuals and also as a group, because there's tremendous power in this group and the story of our group. Why so much focus on stories? We're going to be focusing much more on how to tell an authentic story than spewing up about a lot about the products, which we'll get to anyway, but it's a hard fact that the people who tell the most stories make the most money. Why? Because they stand out as authentic individuals, and that is the real business that you're in, the business of you as a person attracting team. So people want a valuable place where they feel seen, and you can show them what that is through your specific story. So first things first, Leslie has brought a fantastic direct sales mentor into much more into my awareness. He was on my periphery, but a man named Ray Higdon, and we are both avidly absorbing his coachings right now, and what we'll be modeling much of this program after him, but I'm very admiring of what he says, which is a great starting point, which is there's two things you absolutely must get on board with. And we're asking you to get on board here. One, you must decide that this is a great profession, hands down, one you're proud of and that you're committed to being successful in, and to release any stories in your head, either at the top or way down deep of this profession. And so own this profession, fall in love with it, decide it's the best thing since sliced bread. And then number two, decide that it is worth the time and the effort that it takes, because it is. And to be really real with those two things, and the people that you will be talking to will be responding in a different kind of way. So if you don't believe these things, you can go through all the motions and you'll only be achieving a fraction of the success I believe that you're meant to achieve if you want it. So we're here to keep it as simple as possible, because what we do really isn't always easy, but it is for sure simple. Our number one job is to connect to people, to talk to people. When you really boil it down, that's it. Connect to as many people as you can, find out if there's a need, and share what we have to possibly fill that need in an authentic way. So our first goal here with this group is to ensure that those conversations are happening. Lots of times you think you're having more conversations than you are. Definitely been me a lot. So we'll be looking to connect with 20 to 30 people per month and help each other make sure that we are doing so, and help each other make sure that we're on our own message, and we each have a very, very unique personal message there. So how do we do that the most authentically? Really, we're talking about doable as well. Most of us are extremely busy. 10 conversations per week, saying less to more people and saying what no one else is going to be saying to your people. So if you're telling stories, asking questions versus telling, and always adding tons of value, each person is going to let you know how to proceed, which is the great gift. You don't have to figure all that in advance and feel like you have to know what they're going to say, because you never know really what they're going to say. And they will tell you where they may fit with Ever through how they answer. So you don't have to know how to navigate it. Just keep asking more questions till you know. And where do we focus these conversations? We're also going to be learning how to do that better. There's a specific way that we're given right now to focus these questions. Number one, regionally, on the upcoming regional events that Jeremy Soigny will be hosting. And at a few of them, there's going to be this new VP of sales, who we don't know who it is. We know it's a male coming from prestigious company that's bound to wow everyone. And this person's going to be on some of these regional tours. So we're looking at building new lists around everyone you know or who knows people in San Francisco, May 21st, June 5th, Chicago, June 19th, Boston, June 20th, DC, and of course, the next virtual happy hour, the first one, which I believe was very, very successful, May 27th. So that's a way to frame your list around those regional events as well as anybody else you have on your list. So what you're going to need for this program, what we highly suggest, there's a new accountability sheet that is in the lounge. We'll post that in the files in the team page. We're all going to be working off of that. I really suggest a fresh notebook just for this program, for a refreshed list, refreshed ways of tracking, taking notes, just for like clean slate this program. 3 books. So 3 books all the way through the end of July. We're looking at The Fortune Cookie Principle by Bernadette Hiwa. And this is a book more about wider branding and marketing, but there are inexplicable jewels for our profession in here, and we'll help you find them, but they're really great in shaping the things that we're talking about. The next book, most of you have it already, Get Over Your Damn Self, Romy Neustadt. That is a must-have, and we'll guide you through a bit of that as well. And then lastly, Ray Higdon, Freakishly Effective Social Media for Network Marketing. We're going to be talking more about that because I really believe that that is a very powerful tool. Very few of us are using it to the way that we could, and we'll be touching into that as well, because it very much guides you how to tell stories authentically through social media to pair with what you're doing in person. So a little bit about some of the gems that are in the Fortune Cookie book that I thought that would be great to kick this call off with. It's all about telling the truth and asking the questions. Everybody's going to have a different truth, and that's going to lead to different questions. So we're in the people business. And the best way to differentiate yourself out there, because that is really what we're out there to do, is to communicate your purpose. Because products are very similar. Until people have an emotional investment in a product, until then, they seem similar to people who we're talking to. But your purpose is going to be unique from anything else. So you and your own purpose on social media and off, that has the power to shape culture, which is a huge thing for people, to communicate beauty, to make people think new thoughts, to inspire action. And all of these things are so much more than skincare, which all of us know this is so much more than skincare. So that's the deal there. Really believing that you are the secret weapon here. You come before Ever. Ever is part of your jam, right? So the value that you deliver there becomes intangible, and what money can't buy, and what makes the product even more attractive. So you're able to deliver feelings of connection and fun, happiness, security, belonging, all of that. And that's also the power of this team. So as you speak and do reach outs, this is another add-on to what Zev Ash did for us in his beautiful webinar, really being tempted not to default to the professional jargon that we all know how it sounds, and it's the best way to describe our products, but really trying to lead with story first, and then you can talk all about the products once they're emotionally invested. But we're afraid to do that because we want to sound professional right away. And all those facts and figures makes us sound professional, but the story is the thing that hooks the heart. So really the story is going on a first date and giving just a little bite and inciting curiosity and leaving them wanting more. So lots of times a story and a memorable narrative, it's got a pain point, yours or what you believe your audience is experiencing, a solution, a bad guy, and a big goal. So everybody wants to learn more about a story. Story is how we are humanly relate to people, and we're programmed scientifically to listen to a story differently. So it's like hijacking someone's brain in the best way. But mostly people love stories because they want to see you, they want to see themselves in the way you're reflecting. So people are looking for that and hungry for that. So they want to know, what you stand for. They want to be touched by you. So these are all things to remember if you're scared to lead with a story of some kind. So steps of what to do. These are some tips from Ray Higdon as well in terms of conversation. What to do when you're sharing, right? It's very good to have this method to form your structure that will always sound authentic, right? So these guidelines really help. So before you're going to say something to someone on or offline, is what I'm about to communicate going to increase the feelings in others that they know me, right? Not the products or the company, that they know me. Will it increase the likelihood that they will like and trust me? And a mistake here is focusing on what you have versus what they might be struggling with. That's a thin line, right? Often we think we're doing that, but we're not actually doing that. And focusing on what other people are looking for, not just what you are looking for. Sometimes there's parallels, but often there's not. And if you're really focusing on the other person and thinking about what they need, that's felt by the other person inherently. And then we get to connect them to what we have. And it's a fit or it's not, right? So here's 4 great questions to help lead people where you want them to go in a way that feels good to them as well. So a question, say it's someone you've just met, or an acquaintance from a long time ago, what do you do? How long have you been doing it? And then they say what they're doing and you go, oh, you must love it. And then you must love it, right? And then they'll tell you whether or not they do. And you can always say, have you ever considered doing anything else? These are all questions that will get you more information for what you need. And then you can say, based on what you shared, I think you might want to take a look at what I do. You may have interest. It may not be what you are into, but I can send you info. And if not, no big deal. But I think it could really help. That sounds and feels different a lot of the times than what a lot of us do and what I have done a lot of on the other end of the stick. So always give an out and always, give grace there. So, and again, some say yes, some say no, some don't respond. But I really like what he says, because he says, don't complicate it beyond that. And we definitely do, right? We definitely complicate it beyond that. And then the idea of when you get more information, leading them to a decision. That's just a nice thing to do for both parties. And they're either going to be interested or they're busy. And these things are not a big deal unless you make it a big deal. But not making it a big deal is great because you free up your energy to be light and easy and attract in the same way. And in terms of follow up forever. Forever. And if you're doing it right, people will come back, but they'll come around on their timeline. So again, this theme of putting other people's thoughts, needs, timing before your own with as many people as possible. And with consistency, you will have things blooming all the time. And it may take a minute to start blooming, but all of a sudden, all kinds of things will be happening. And you'll think, what did I do? What was the thing that I did? And it will be all the things that you did all along the way. So that's my bit on what I would love some of the themes of this program to be that I think can lead us all in a direction that will be far more effective and efficient. So Leslie will continue on with our next points of the call.
Well, it's brilliant, and I think it's just simplicity is the name of the game for so many different reasons. So this is really interesting. I was reading a story on a gentleman in network marketing, middle-aged gentleman in network marketing for another wellness company today. And he said the simple switch that he made that contributed to all of his success is he said, when I started looking at network marketing, not as a hobby, but as a way to empower people, I became wealthy. And it was just that simple shift from hobby to, I can empower people. And he went with that and has had all this massive success. And I think that's a lot of what we're getting at right now, is just really looking at Ever and the way you can empower people with it and think of it truly as a gift that we're giving. A really simple way, I think, to do all of these incredible things that Amelia is suggesting, that are all super doable, by the way, is to do that power hour. We talk about it all the time, but we really need to ask ourselves, and believe me, I need to ask myself this too, are we doing a real power hour? And what does that real power hour look like for you? And maybe the way it looks for Victoria is going to be different from the way it looks for Meredith, or the way it looks for Caitlin. I mean, just depending on your life. So I know some people who are getting up at 5 a.m. and they're like, okay, from 5 to 6 a.m., no matter what, I'm getting up every day and doing my power hour. And it's very regimented. So within that power hour, there's going to be a time allotted, maybe 15 minutes for personal development. And maybe for one person, personal development is a podcast, an ongoing podcast. For another person, it's a really awesome book they're reading. Maybe it's Freakishly Effective Social Media, something like that. Maybe it's Rachel Hollis, whomever it is. But you're reading or doing the podcast, you're getting that in your ears for 15 minutes, non-negotiable every day. And then you're breaking down your reach outs, your follow-ups, your social media, which should come last, by the way. And you're getting tight on your time. And during that 1 hour, you're not getting up to make coffee. You're not going to go throw some laundry in. You're not thinking about how you should be on a run, or, how you really should be packing lunches for the kids, whatever it is. You're solely focused on Ever for that 1 hour, non-negotiable. There's a lot out there on different ways you can break this down, a lot of different strategies. The one that I really like is on Sundays, planning out your power hours for the week and really getting tight on your time. So Sundays, you're sitting down and you're thinking about, how can I reach out every day during that power hour to 5 people, do 3 reach outs, and maybe check in with 2 team members. If you don't have team, switch that to prospects. Okay, whatever it is, it's simple, it's bite-sized, it doesn't even sound hard. You might even be thinking, oh, is that enough? Sure is, because do that times 30, you got a lot of hours in, you got a lot of people, you've got a real funnel going on now. And you're in great action, and that's 1 hour a day. But it has to be really tight. While you're doing this, have an achievements or finished task list next to your to-do list. So as you're completing something, write it down, you guys. That's a win. You reached out to Susie you hadn't reached out to for a year and you're kind of embarrassed that you didn't do it. That's a win. You reach back out, write it down. So pat yourself on the back. When you do those power hours, you're building an empire bit by bit by bit. A couple other, good things you can do within just some little tips within the power hour, and then just start thinking about what's going to work best for you. Definitely do one activity you must do, like a must do. So whatever that is, make sure it's worked in there. So if your must do is, like, if you really, really want to sponsor, you've got your avatar, you know who you want, and you want to spend 10 minutes every day on Facebook, just going through, looking for new friends, getting into those stories, looking for new connections to make, and do that prospecting. Put 10 minutes within that and just do it every day. It's non-negotiable. That's a must do, that prospecting piece of your time. Whatever it is, whatever you're feeling, write that on Sunday night, make that week. If that week needs to be hyper-focused on prospecting, then you're going to up your time within prospecting within that hour. So you see where I'm going with this. It's simple. It's your business, your way. So it's just taking whatever those needs are within your business, and they're always going to be a balance of sales and sponsoring, and plugging it into a formula that works for you. But that hour's got to be your golden hour. Nobody can touch it. Okay. I wanted to talk also briefly, just switching gears for a second, about just the different ways that people have great success on this journey that I'm seeing and finding. I had an interesting conversation today. I was sponsoring a gal who has been with me for almost 2 years, had done some sponsoring, what we would probably call discounters, but nobody really ever wanted to do a lot of selling, and that's great, right? Those people are super important. But she had always really wanted to get a builder on her team, and it happened today. And it happened with a gal who came in with the $5.99 kit, and tomorrow she's got another friend who we're talking to at 5 p.m. That friend is looking for income replacement and has looked at Ever's website and wants to go for it and see if she can't build a big business out of it. And then she also has 3 customers already ready to go. This from a gal who was with us now for 2 years and has been thinking, why isn't this happening? Why isn't this happening? And of course, you can see how those coaching calls go, right? Stick it out, keep going, be here in a year. We say that all the time. And here it is, 2 years in, something really cool happening. So never giving up. We hear these stories all the time. They really do happen, and I love them. I get excited about those, right? And then I want to talk a little bit about Caitlin Ship, who's on my team. And Caitlin's on the call tonight, and I'd love to put her on the spot for a few minutes. I'm a really big fan of everybody owning their own journey and believing in yourself beyond reason, and we talk about it all the time. And Caitlin's one of those people who does believe in herself beyond reason, and I love that she hit senior specialist toward the end, right, Caitlin, toward the end of your 3rd month, so toward the end of her fast start. And she's working tirelessly, and she's incredibly coachable, and she's going to do some pretty awesome things. And I say that very wholeheartedly. So I'd love for her to just talk a little bit about what it looked like, because you didn't hear a shout out from David Box, because she didn't make, a couple thousand in fast start, but yet she's had this incredible momentum and incredible start. So if you could just talk to us a little bit about your journey, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, I started looking at Ever back in September of 2018. I had met Leslie, and I just instantly knew that this community is what I wanted to be a part of. I just recently turned 30. I took a leadership job, and for me, this was something I was missing, something I wanted. I wanted the community piece. But it's just been awesome. A lot of what's discussed right now is kind of what my journeys look like so far. The reach outs, and just, I text Leslie these, little messages, updates, or what I call them, my weekly updates. And it's just nice to see that, genuinely reaching out, finding that avatar, who that person is, these things do happen. And I'll text her, I'm like, you know what, I hadn't heard anything for a couple of days, and then boom, all these things start, happening and working. And I really do feel like a lot of the tips being talked about tonight, really do work, and they really, make a difference.
Caitlin, you've done a really great job of getting right into the cold market. Can you just talk a little bit about how, with a 2-year-old working full-time as a nurse, how have you managed to do that? Get out there and get your time. You're so tight, and managed.
Yeah, and I think those power hours are powerful. I think it's important. I work 50 hours a week as an assistant manager, and I have a 2-year-old, and I'm married, and so time is valuable. But I've started visiting a BNI, and I've had one-to-ones, and I've started reaching out to people that have ended up really being interested in doing the one-to-ones. But I think it's been important to really kind of map out my week, map out my days. What do they look like? How do I need to prioritize for that? So I would say the power hour is my biggest thing.
That's awesome. And as you're reaching out, tell us about the pharmacist you just bought. Last story. I just want to hear, because I think that Caitlin's planting seeds. I think you're definitely adhering to 30 to 50 reach outs a month. I think you're right in that. Would you say that's about accurate?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Just tell one of those stories that you've got some great ones.
Yeah, I think for me, when Amelia discussed the avatar, and I had talked to Leslie, and I think for me that was the key. And I think, for me, I started kind of changing my language a little about, because Leslie and I had discussed, I'm a nurse. So for me, the biggest thing I wanted to invest in and look at is the community part, whatever is all of that stuff, that's the stuff I wanted to research more. The products made sense. As a nurse, clean products, good for you products, that was the easy part. So when one of the calls talked about the avatar and we had decided to do that, it was easy to change the language to reach out to these people and say, as much as I do, these products make sense. And I've had two different people, one girl, she's used another product forever, and she's like, I also do Norwex, which is like cleaning products. And she's like, until we had this discussion, why wasn't I thinking about clean skincare? She's like, I was thinking clean products, but I hadn't even thought of that. And then I reached out to a pharmacist. We had worked together with my first nursing job. And then she moved, her husband got a promotion and an opportunity to move out to California. And I touched base with her in very similar language, like, we get the whys behind the products, and why they're so important. So I think that's been easy for me to touch base with some of these people on the clean part of it.
Yeah, and really honing that avatar. I think that has made a real difference.
And I've had a lot more reach outs that way.
Yeah.
I also love what you said, that you said specifically the getting that specific avatar made it easier for you.
It did.
It took a lot of the
felt like before, not that my messages weren't genuine, but it was almost like it came from a feel-good place, which isn't negative, but it was trying to find where that connecting piece. And I think for me to kind of hone in on an avatar and like, okay, who's really the people that I'm going to be able to like connect that piece with? And that's made it easier.
Right. Because in that first part of the reach out, just like I do, this, like you're saying that you recognize who they are, you're validating who they are, and it's complimenting at the same time, and it's relating.
Yeah.
And that right away cuts through the noise to me.
Yeah. And that's really kind of helped, like, with some of the other conversations, it's easy to kind of, okay, we're talking in circles or making progress, but I think for me to kind of hone in on that, it's kind of like, okay, this is what sets us apart. This is why we're important. This is why it's important. And you get it, And I think it's also acknowledging like where they're at, not having to like dumb down or like make them feel like they don't get it. It's like, you get this, it.
Incredible, really. I mean, it's a really cool, you've had a really cool journey that is truly just beginning. So it's really fun. It's fun. And it's nice for you to share all of this with people, because so many people are, we're all right there. We're all saying, okay, how are we going to build this thing? Right? How do I want to build this so it's authentic, so that it's me, so that it reflects really who I am, and so I can empower people? And that's exactly what you're doing. And it's really a beautiful thing to watch. Caitlin's social media is awesome. She posts every day, and a lot of her posts are just not ever related. They're true, just value adds, like a lot of really good wellness pieces, which a lot of you are doing. And I'm certainly trying to get better at this myself. Super impressed with that kind of group. Also putting a lot of great ever stuff, and not afraid to say, hey, you want to come do this with me? She's not hiding from anything. She's proud of it. And she's also giving a lot of great advice. So the know, like, and trust factor, I believe you've already established that. And I think that's very cool too. So people are very engaged, and it's nice. So just a really cool launch story for everyone. To say this gal's journey is only beginning, an understatement. And we're just proud of you, Caitlin, and thanks for coming on and sharing that.
Of course.
Yeah, and now we're all going to go run for the roses. Get out there, right? Good. Anything else you want me to touch on? I mean, I've certainly gone on long enough here.
Yeah, I mean, I think, excuse me, I think, Caitlin's story, and many of you are doing it, and I have a lot of room to improve on this consistency thing. And I plan on tracking very seriously, but also with joy and ease, these things with you all. And I really depend on you to hold me accountable through this group. And I just know the stories that we're all going to be able to tell if we really do this. And if we really do it, it will make Ever in our lives very much more streamlined and pointed and effective, and free us up in a lot of the rest of our day to live our lives even better. And then we'll all be able to tell those stories to everybody that we're bringing on. So, the point, it's run for the roses, but we're like, let's just make sure we're walking down the road. Because if you're doing that with tremendous consistency in small pieces each day, when these big bonus programs come, when the product launches come, you're already in stride, and they will lift the people who are in stride. And things just start happening all of a sudden. So that's about it. I think, the simplicity, there will still be challenges, of course. The simplicity and just doing it, they won't be they won't affect you as much. The only way to get good at handling all the things is to experience them. And that's the only way to learn like what really works for you, because there will be things that work for you in different ways that it will work for someone else. And just to release any part of those stories that are holding you back, identify them and release them, and release the what ifs, right? There's a lot of fear that everybody has coming in all along, fears we don't even realize are there, all in the form of what ifs. Like, what if she says this? What if I don't do this? Don't let those what ifs keep you from building this and doing this. And that's why we're here together, to help. Like, we're all here, and we're all going to get rid of those fears, or just do it anyway, right? Because it's worth it. Choose to start, choose to restart. I restart all the time. Start again, start over, and create something amazing here. And if you have too much of the attention on you, do it to create something amazing for yourself, for others, which is the very best part. Ray says, if you don't think about quitting sometimes, you're probably not going for this enough. But quitting is selfish. So it's natural to like come up against thoughts like that. But if you find too much of the attention is on you, get it on the service piece, get it on those other people. And, really realize that this choice is yours and the story is yours, and the marathon is fun. Right, Meredith? In that training aspect, Meredith will be back on, I'm sure, to talk about the tremendous parallels between training for a physical marathon and what we're doing here. So that consistency, you will see things happening. And what if it takes 5 years? Jessica Heron always says the time's going to pass anyway. Yeah. Time will pass anyway. What if in 5 years you do achieve it? What if it takes a few years more? There's a story, right, Leslie, of the woman who was around for 19 years.
Oh my God. Yeah. Yeah. She was there 17 years, this woman. She barely had a sale. I think she made $3,000. Like, it was just, the struggle was real. She just couldn't quite, who knows why. And then all of a sudden it happened for her. 17 years in, she had the mindset shift, things fell into place, and now she's a multimillionaire. Another wellness company. True story. You hear them all the time. So 4, 5, 6 years to build something big, to build something that creates legacy, that empowers other people, that gives you real income replacement, and a whole heck of a lot more, hopefully, especially with a company like this where the sky's the limit, and you're in at ground floor and you're the one. I mean, it's unbelievable. It really is. It is limitless possibilities, and not just financially, but limitless possibilities for what you can do just as a human being and how you can help others. And truly, when you look at it like that, and when you look at how you can help empower, it's everything. Whenever I'm having a down day, I stop thinking about myself. I will tell you that. And I start shifting it right away to how can I help someone else? And then things start to just naturally fall into place again. And all is right with the universe. But believe me, just keep going. My gosh. You guys, this beauty summit, sorry, Amelia, I can't help myself. This beauty summit is going to be amazing. Like, people are saying they're doing things like it's going to blow all of the other beauty summits out of the water. And we all know the power of beauty summit. If you've been before, super powerful, right? So just like these next few months are going to be golden in so many ways. There's so much coming. So just keep going. And that's why that power hour, no matter what you've got going on, own it. And that is your hour. Just like, do it. Just do it.
And it allows you to bring it back to this, right? Because we get so excited. We're like, oh, there's so much coming. It's going to be amazing. And it is. But that can, and all these huge goals, right? But just bring it back every day into right in front of you, the next step, the next step, the next step, the next step. And you will end up a million miles from where you currently are, from just the one step after the other.
Yeah.
So
awesome.
Yep, that's what we've got tonight. I think we have a few minutes for some questions.
And for Caitlin, if you guys have questions for Caitlin, ask her.
Yes.
She's got some good stuff. Good stuff going on.
You're all muted, so if you see where to unmute, or you can I could just unmute you all. Maybe it won't be loud. Okay.
Anything at all, including just process questions, like anything. Just nothing's off limits. Hi, Karen. I see your face now. Karen Young.
I finally figured out how to get the video to work and not ruin the service. So sorry. I have about like a thread of Wi-Fi here.
Just good to see your lovely face.
Coco Lulu.
Any questions about Beauty Summit, about things that are coming up, about Power Hour? Is everybody raise your little hand? Is everyone clear on have an idea about the Power Hour? Anybody want to talk through theirs or anything?
I think what we'll do, we'll do the Facebook engagement again. We'll do the post in the team.
Yeah.
And this week we'll form our Power Hour. You can talk with your mentor specifically about it to form it, because yours might be a little bit different. I think we'll look to post them.
Hey, I got a quick question.
Yeah.
On the Beauty Summit, it is not just for signed specialists. Is that correct? Can customers go if they're interested, or it's just for specialists?
You have to be a specialist.
Okay, you have to be a signed specialist. Okay.
Yeah.
Want to make sure.
Yeah, but there's no requirements within, if my mom wants to come, who wouldn't sell anything to anyone for any reason.
Like mine.
Yeah.
Yeah, like our moms, they don't sell, but they can come because they're specialists. So
yeah.
You can grab a 49 link and come. I mean.
Yes. Okay. And is there a breakout of if they don't want to attend the entire thing and pay for the full registration, do they have a separate registration for per day, $99 if you get that?
No.
No. Okay. Okay.
It's
all or nothing.
$239 through May 31st. It will not be less than that. They are not offering any promotion. And then on June 1st, it's $299.
Holy crap. We got to sign up in May.
Yes.
Hurry.
I'm going to talk to my lady tomorrow.
I have a question.
Get your teams there.
Yes, Colleen.
So I brought this up in one of our other calls a few weeks ago, that I bought my ticket for Beauty Summit, but I completely forgot that friends of mine are getting married that weekend, and I'm invited to the wedding, and it's on Friday. So I'm still struggling as to whether or not I'm going to try and make it.
You asked them to change the wedding date, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, you did that? They were a hard no? Was it a hard
no? But if it ends up that I decide not to go, is it can I transfer my ticket, or can I get a refund?
They may refund you. Just go to events, I think, right, Amelia? Or just go to specialist relations and see what they'll do.
There's going to be that in the FAQ in the Beauty Summit tab. I don't think they're transferable, but I think that they're fully refundable or then partially refundable depending on when.
Just see what you can do with specialist relations. See if they'll help you.
Ask sooner than later, I would say.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. That's a bummer.
Yeah, I know. I was so psyched. I bought my ticket. I'm like, yes, I'm going. And then I realized, I was like, oh, damn it. And I mean, they invited me to the wedding before it was officially announced.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of even have I kind of have to go.
Okay. Well, we'll miss you there. Anybody else?
I have a quick question. Did I miss the part where we pre-order? We can't pre-order the Sunless Tanner or the
right.
No, it's midnight on the 10th. Right away. They're available